Hello and welcome to Stew's Reviews. I am Stewie, and pretty much the reason this took so long is because I attempted to do way more than I could handle, I believe. I tried to go into a movie extremely in depth, explaining almost everything scene by scene, frame by frame, just going in. It was extremely tedious and kind of unrewarding. So, month, a period of time later, I am deciding to reformat that and try to do something a little shorter. Okay. Here's how it's gonna be formatted. It's just gonna be me going in chunk by chunk, talking about the scenes, and I guess just giving my take on it, explaining what's happening, explaining who the people are, and hopefully it's more entertainmentally, more entertaining. Hopefully it's more entertaining to you guys, everyone listening, even if it might be just a couple people. Maybe it's just that one person, who knows. But I want you guys to enjoy it, have fun with it, and maybe learn something from it. I don't know. Either way, this is what's happening now, and yeah, hopefully more stuff comes out, and we could all be happy about it. So, without further ado, let's get into this review. The 1990 TV miniseries based off an iconic Stephen King novel, This Is It. Hello, my name is Stuart, and today I'm going to be reviewing the 1990, movie, It. It's the original, and it's one of my favorites. I'm sure everyone listening to this knows who Pennywise is and knows about it, but I'm not too sure if everyone has not sure if anyone's seen both parts of it. So, I guess that's why I'm here. I want to give a small review and insight to my mind when I'm watching this movie, and let's just have fun with this movie, and yeah, let's check it out. Before we really get into it, we should kind of know who's playing Pennywise. And in this one, it's the iconic Tim Curry with his... I mean, if you've seen parts of the new one, you'll see that he's kind of more like... I don't know. His voice is all soft. And when I think of the new It, I think of like Winnie the Pooh or something like that. It's weird. But this guy, he's just like... Beep, beep, Richie. There's something, he has that deep, I don't know. Tim Curry, you're doing it right. And, yeah. Love that guy. Well, I guess let's start watching this movie. And, yeah, let's get into it. Alright, well, we hear the intro music playing. We're like, sick, this is gonna be tight. We get into the title card, we're like, ooh, spooky. And we're thrown right into it when we see a little girl riding her bike home, her mom calling her in, some spooky sounds coming from inside the sheets that are hung up to dry. All of a sudden, boom, we see Pennywise. Woo! And at first he's kind of happy, he's all like, ha ha ha. And then he gets all spooky, his teeth get big. He's all like, The little girl gets scared. But, I mean, he's like an alien monster clown. She's like 4. Who do you think's gonna win that? So the girl's gone. Cops are everywhere. People freaking out. And then this guy shows up. Who's this fool? This guy just like, who's this dude? He's like, it just keeps happening. What are we gonna do? The cops are like, dude, stop. You're a civilian. We're the cops. Let us do our job. And then he's just like, oh, I guess so. But then he looks over, sees a little picture. That picture is of Georgie. Which, I'll explain who Georgie is if you don't know. Just give it a sec. But yeah, this guy who's walking around is actually one of the main characters. His name is Mike Hannon. Hannon? Yeah, Mike. And yeah, he's kind of the one who stayed in Derry, and he's the one who kind of reassembles the team. So he goes back to his library, starts making calls. It's like, everybody, we gotta come back to Derry. Stuff's getting a little spooky. So yeah, that's that's that scene. Let's keep it going with the characters. Alright. Now we're getting into Bill Denborough, played by Richard Thomas, who's writing his new book. But his wife is all like, come on, come eat, because he's really engulfed in his work. But he finally comes down. He's like, oh, okay. Yeah, then they start talking about their bills, his new work, and where they're at, stuff like that. And then he gets a call, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna go get it. So he gets the phone, he's talking to it, he's all happy, he's like, hello. All of a sudden it's like, hey Bill, it's me, Mike. And he's like, flashback to when they're all like, if it ever comes back, this is them as kids, by the way. If it ever comes back, we have to promise to come back and stop it, or something like that. And you're like, oh, okay. They're friends. They were friends, at least. But yeah, so Mike just tells him, hey, this clown boy's back. And, yeah. Bill freaks out and has this little flashback to when Georgie was alive. And this is... I don't know whether to call it the scene or one of the most iconic scenes. It's a scene everyone knows. Where it's... Bill's laying in bed. It's all rainy outside. Bill's sick. The mom's playing, what is it, like Beethoven? Yeah, it's cool. Then, so Bill makes Georgie this little paper boat. Georgie's like, oh, that's so cool, Bill. And then Bill's like, yeah, go get the wax. He runs to the basement. Ooh, spooky, suspenseful scene. What's gonna happen? Nothing. Nothing happens. So he runs back up to Bill. They seal the boat in this wax stuff, I guess. And then Georgie throws on his raincoat, starts playing with it in a storm drain. Where, like, the water's flowing in the, like, gutters or whatever. And he has the boat in the gutter, so the boat's, like, floating along. It's, I don't know, it's cool, I guess. Something that's not cool, though, it's bright outside. If you watch the scene, there's rain pouring down, but the sun is out. Also, there's these balls of fire everywhere. Also, there's, like, ambulance barricades or police barricades everywhere. I don't get it. What's happening? What? And all that I can think of that's happening in this scene is that the cleanup crew never got around to cleaning up the scene. And they were just like, screw it, dude. It's gonna look cool. Give it some atmosphere. You know? No, it doesn't. It just... What's happening? Please explain. If you know, call me, text me. Let's talk about this. Because I don't know. I don't know. That's not the point. Whatever. We're past that. Okay. The boat goes down a storm drain. Who would have thunk? The boat is all up in the storm drain. Georgie's like, oh, Bill's gonna be so mad. Oh, no. He's sad. All of a sudden, Georgie, I got your boat. And he's like, who said that? And he's like, it's me. My name's Pennywise the Dancing Clown. Woo! We all know him. We all love him. Woo! But he's like, yeah, I got your boat. Bill's gonna be mad. You better grab it. And he's like, oh, okay. And then, yeah, basically Pennywise is just like, oh, we got all sorts of fun, wacky stuff down here. Come check it out. And then, yeah, you get the iconic, you'll float too, Georgie. We all float down here. And then you're like, I know this scene. It's so cool. But yeah, Georgie gets his, like, I guess you don't see it. All you see is a zoom in on Pennywise's, like, his scary mouth. And then you see Georgie, like, ah! Then we cut to, like, I think it's Georgie's funeral. And then you're like, oh, that sucks. He's dead. But you don't figure out until later, he got his arm yoinked. Like, this boy's arm was just gone. So, what's in the casket? Is it the rest of him? Is there none of him? What do they have left of him to put in this big old casket? Caskets are expensive. That's not... Okay, I'm off topic. Let's continue. Okay. So... Shut up. Okay. Well, yeah, after Georgie's funeral, Bill's looking, like, at this photo album or whatever. And, like, it's all cool. It's all fun. He's like, oh, I miss Georgie. But then all of a sudden, the picture of Georgie's all like, hey. And it winks at him. And he's like, ah. He chucks the book. All of a sudden, book starts spewing out blood. He's freaking out. Blood's everywhere. Blood's coming out of this book. The pages are freaking out. You're like, ah, what's happening? Mom, Dad, come in here. They come in. They're like, I told you not to be in here. And he's like, look at all this blood. And they're like, what blood? You are making us sad. Our son is dead. And he's like, oh, they can't see it. And then you're like, oh, that's cool. But I guess that's the end of that flashback. So, then Bill freaks out. Well, like, original adult Bill freaks out. He's like, I gotta go. So he gets up. He's ready. He leaves his wife. He's like, I'm heading to Derry. Yeah, and then that's pretty much the end of adult Bill. Well, his little segment. We jump over to New York City and meet Ben Handsome, played by John Ritter. And he's going home after a successful night of something. He got an award. I don't really know what for, but he drops it like a dum-dum, and it breaks. And he's like, oh, well, I'll just have to win another one. Ha 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 ha. He's, like, doing successful. He lives in, like, a warehouse, which is kind of cool, because it's all arty, and it's cool. Ben Hannon, you're doing good. Handsome? Hanlon? Ben, you're doing good. But yeah, so phone rings, or he's like talking to his wife or girlfriend or whatever she is, and he's like, oh, we're gonna do some stuff that's for not PG-13. Ooh, nothing happens, don't worry. I know this is PG-13, don't worry about it. But yeah, he gets a call. He's like, oh, yo, what's up, I'm drunk. And then he's like, Ben, it's me, Mike. He's back. Ben freaks out. And I think this is Ben's flashback about being a fat kid. Ben introduces himself to, like, his new class or whatever, because he just moved to Derry. And this guy, Henry Bowers, who's the main bully, he's played by Michael Cole. He just starts making fun of him and ripping into him about being fat. And then the teacher gets all pissy. And then he's like, oh, what a porker, after he, like, sits down. But, like, all the it kids, what do I call them? Like, in the new movie, they're called, like, the losers or whatever, but I don't know what to call them. Yeah, we'll get in, I don't know. All the kids, they start checking him out, and they're like, yeah, you're cool, I guess. But yeah, then, he calls him a porker. Then Henry Bowers gets attention. He gets mad. He's like, you're dead, fat boy. And it made me laugh, because that's funny. Yeah. Then, after class, Ben talks to Beverly Marsh a little bit. Getting it? You know how it is with his little game. Ooh, what a man. Yeah, that doesn't last long. Some little stuck-up kids walk past, and they're like, some people have new class. Yeah, some people's dads aren't janitors or whatever. And I'm like, it's like the 50s. Shut up. Everyone's dad's a janitor. Little kids. God. But yeah. Ben walks away. Ben starts walking home. He's thinking about Beverly Marsh. All of a sudden, boom, there's the little porker. It's the bullies. They hold him down. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna make you remember me. I'm gonna carve Henry Bowers into your belly, fat boy." Ben's like, "No," and he kicks. He rolls down a hill, hides in like a storm hole or something. But then the bullies like chase after him. They don't see him, but they like find, what is it, Ben and Eddie. Eddie, what's his name? Like Eddie Kazbrak. He's like the germaphobe. I think we all know that one. Where he's like, "Oh, I need my inhaler. Oh, I need everything. Help." But yeah, the bullies pull up. They're like, "What are you guys doing, stacking rocks in a river?" They just start like stomping on the water. So it was like a weird scene. They're like, "Alright, well, we're leaving." And then, yeah, Ben comes out. Ben, Eddie, and Bill become friends. They're like, "Yeah, we're gonna build a dam. You wanna help?" He's like, "Yeah." So, yeah, they're friends now. Yeah, Ben goes home, I guess. I don't know. Ben's mom's on welfare. So they're staying with her sister. And, like, his cousin makes fun of him for having a crush, so Ben beats the shit out of him. And then his aunt's like, "Oh, you're bad." The mom's like, "Come on, we need to, Then Ben's like, "Oh, I'm having a temper tantrum. Dad should be alive." And he leaves. He runs down to, like, the quarry or whatever. He sees his dad. He's like, "Hey, come on, Ben, I live here now in this spooky storm place." And all of a sudden his voice starts changing. He's like, "Oh, ah!" And you're like, "Whoa, what's happening?" He's like, Ben, come down here, Ben." And you're like, "Whoa, I know this voice. None other than Pennywise," which he turns into. And he's like, "Ha ha 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 ha." He's just laughing at him, which is weird. Cool, I guess. All of a sudden, Pennywise is gone. A skeleton reaches out of the water, grabs his foot. "We all float down here, Ben. You'll float too." Cuts to Ben's face. Ben's all like, "Ah." Well, adult Ben's all like, "Ah." He's like, "Well, shit. I guess I gotta go back." And yeah, that's the end of Ben's scene. Now let's get to Beverly Marsh's. Beverly starts with her secretary getting a call and going to tell her about it, but her jerk of a boyfriend is like, "Hey, no, that's not happening. Let's go do this deal." So she's like scared, but they do the deal. Everything goes well, I guess, and we get a very PG-13. They're laying in bed. Yeah, it's fine. So her boyfriend goes up to get wine or whatever. She gets the call from Mike. He's like, "Hey, everything, like, it's back." She freaks out and starts packing her bags, getting ready to go. But her boyfriend gets back, pissed off, and is like, "No, I just got you a deal. You can't leave me." He hits her. You're like, "Oh no." She gets pissed off. He grabs a belt and he's like, I'm a anger." And you're like, it's scary. It's a scary scene. I don't know. It was scary. So yeah, it's this whole thing. She's yelling out no. She finally gets away, which, good. She gets in the cab, starts her flashback. Her flashback consists of her getting a poem from Ben. Well, finding the poem. Her dad being pissed off about the poem, hitting her. Her running away. And then, what is it? Ben finds her, like, crying, and then invites her to go down to the river or whatever with him, so they could all build the dam together. And, yeah, so they walk down there. Eddie and Bill meet Beverly, because Ben brings her down. Then we meet the best characters, in my opinion. The characters I love the most, and I'm sure many other people love the most. We meet Beep Beep Richie and, what's his name? Stanley? Yeah, Stanley's cool. But Beep Beep Richie's my favorite. Because it's a Beep Beep Richie. But yeah, it's just great. Because, I don't know, they both work so great. It's Stanley Uris, by the way. Uris? Yeah. But yeah, it's this whole thing where he's like, "Do you know how to build a dam?" And he's like, "Yeah, it just works." And then everyone's like, "Yeah, it just works. And then he's like, "I guess it works." Then it's like a 3-minute scene. 3 minutes doesn't seem that long, but it's a 3-minute scene with, like, some Happy Days track in the back of it. Just like them building this dam and then jumping into the dam. I don't like it. I'm not a fan. All of them have it. This one, the next one. I don't know. They both have these super long, extended. What is it like? Unnecessary film, and I don't like it. But yeah, there's that. It's what is it? Beverly, Ben, and Bill walking home. Beverly likes Bill because she thinks Bill wrote the poem, but Ben wrote the poem. And then Bill likes Beverly because it's Beverly. Ben's conflicted. Yeah, so that's that, I guess. It sucks. But yeah. Then it cuts to later that night. Beverly hears some voices coming from inside her drain. And it's like, we're the dead kids. And then a balloon fills up with blood. And it pops. She freaks out because it's a balloon full of blood that just popped in her sink. Her dad comes in and is like, what's up? And she's like, you don't see the blood? And he's like, I don't see the blood. You're scaring me. And yeah, she just says it's a spider. He's like, I worry about you. She's spazzing. Pennywise is in the drain like, you'll die if you try. You'll die if you try. You better stay here. And yeah, it fades back to her in the cab. And we move on. Yeah, the next segment we move on to is Eddie's segment. Eddie's gearing up to leave for Maine already, so I guess he already got the call. And yeah, I guess his mom's all like, you're scaring me. He's like, I gotta go. She's like, where you heading? He's like, Maine. She's like, oh, don't do it. He does it. Good on him. Taking initiative. Cool. He gets into the car. He's talking to his driver, and he's like, what's in Maine? They're all just talking, and it solicits his flashback. His flashback is basically, it starts with them at the movies, which I feel like most people would know. And, yeah, Eddie accidentally knocks his popcorn onto Henry Bowers and his little cronies. So Richie's like, oh, you guys are monsters. So he pours his soda on them, and they all, like, book it. So they all run back down to, like, the quarry or whatever. And Ben's looking at the, like, scary house thing. Eddie's looking at the scary house thing. And, okay, Beverly, what's happening here? Alright, like, I don't get it. Because she's into Bill. And during the movie, she gets scared. She hides on Bill's arm and also Ben's arm. And then now, Richie's, like, messing around. And she kissed Richie on the side of the cheek. What the heck? Beverly? What's happening here? Stop playing with my boy Ben's emotions like that. Or Richie's I don't even know. Who cares? I don't care. But yeah, they pull up to Eddie's house. Eddie's mom's pissed off. She's like, don't hang out with these fools. They're not cool. He's like, they're my friends. She's like, you're not taking a shower with the boys. I don't know. Cool. Unrelated, but cool. We cut to his PE class the next day. He's about to leave. PE teacher's like, no, hey, got a shower. So he's like, fine. So he goes to shower. It's like this big old shower room with like 12 shower heads. And it's like for all the boys, but it's only him. So all of a sudden the water cranks up, super hot. Pressure super high. The poles start sticking out. He's freaking out. They like block him in to the shower room so he can't leave. And okay, one of my favorite scenes, because it's like this cool little claymation thing. It's Pennywise opening the floor drain so he could fit through. And Pennywise just looks so cool here, and he scares Eddie so hard, and he just looks so cool, and I love it. And he also is like, haha, you little girly boy, and it made me laugh. And I don't know, yeah, we cut back to Eddie on the train, because, yeah, he went to the train station, forgot to say that, so we could head to Maine. And yeah, he's on the train, and we fade to Richie's segment. Richie's a successful comedian, and I mean, it's pretty cool, because, I don't know, he was funny. And yeah, he just finished his show, and people are laughing, and he's talking to a big old group of people, and you hear the phone ringing in the background. He manages to pick it up, and he kind of just goes still, and he's like, oh, it's Mike, ah. And yeah. So he's getting ready to head out from California back to Maine. His manager's all like, "I got gigs lined up for you, man. What are you doing? We've been through so much." And he's like, I gotta go back." So his manager leaves. He starts freaking out, and it cuts into his flashback of, what is it? It cuts to, yeah, they're all sitting around in the marsh or whatever it's called, the quarry, and they're all listening to Bill's stories, and they're all talking about where they want to be once they grow a little older. But right before Bill can say something like super serious that he's been like wanting to tell them, this Irish cop is like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And like he's pissed off about the dam because it's just a bunch of trash. But he's just like, "Hey, there's been another murder, so if y'all want to kick it down here, just be careful, because there's a murder. It's scary. So just stay together." And they're all like, "Yeah, okay, cool." And then it's the next day, at school, they're at school. Richie and Stanley are talking. Richie bumps into Henry Bowers. Henry smears some mashed potatoes on his face. So Richie shoves his food onto Richie Bowers' jacket. Or Henry Bowers' jacket. So Henry slips and falls. Richie laughs at him, and he runs into the principal. The principal's pissed off, and he's like, "Go get a mop from the janitor." So he walks to the janitor. There's no one there, so he walks into like the cellar thing, and he thinks he sees the janitor, and he's like, "Hello?" But it turns out to be the werewolf guy from the movie they were watching, like when he poured the soda on Henry. So yeah, it was this big old scary werewolf dude. He's freaking out. He's like, "Ah, no." And then all of a sudden it changes into Pennywise. And he's like, "Haha, beep, beep, Richie." And yeah, it's great. He just starts, he says float all weird. He's like, "I'll teach you how to float down here, 'cause we all float." It's funny. It's dumb. It's something dumb to laugh at, but it's fun. But yeah, we get another shot of Pennywise's gnarly little face with his like protruding teeth and stuff like that. He's all like, "Rah, rah, rah." So Richie freaks out, runs upstairs. He's like, "Guys, help me, there's a werewolf in the cellar." All the other kids are like, "Ha ha ha, stupid boy, werewolves don't exist." But his friends, the little gang, are like, "Hey, wait a minute, that's spooky, dude. Something's going on, and we know it." So, yeah, that's the end of his thing. It cuts back to adult him, just lying there. And yeah, then we fade to Mike, checking out old pictures of them as kids. And then this starts his flashback of him presenting during class. And again, Henry Bowers making fun of his presentation. And it's similar to Ben's, where Henry called him a porker and all that, but it's more like, this is boring. But yeah, on Mike's walk home, Henry Bowers kind of stops him, and yeah, gets really racy, and starts calling him all these words, and saying that him and his dad don't like his kind, 'cause he's a darker man. Yeah, gets super racy. But yeah, Henry pulls out like this little M80 type thing, and is like, "Let's play Rocket in the Pocket," because he's gonna like shove it in his hand or his pocket or something. And then, those things make pretty sizable power, so that'd be a gnarly thing to do. Yeah, some guy across the street's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Mike escapes. He runs away from Henry, and Henry chases him all the way down to like this like construction yard thing where the gang is hanging out, and they're all just talking about like the clown, because they all kind of know about it now, so they're all just talking about it. Yeah. And then they hear him yelling. They're like, "Oh, let's get rocks. We'll smite them down with rocks." So Mike pulls up. They're all like, "Oh, you're cool." And then they start throwing rocks at Henry and his cronies. So Henry's alone on the ground. He's like, "What are you guys gonna do?" He's like, "There's like 7 of us. We could kill you if we wanted to." He runs away and he's like, "I swear I'll kill every last one of you all of you I will kill. So he dips, and yeah, that's when Mike becomes a group of the now deemed Losers Club, which Henry and his cronies gave them the name. Yeah, then it cuts to them all kind of just checking out Mike's project, or his presentation thing, and they see an old ad from Early Dairy for Pennywise the Dancing Clown. Then the pages start freaking out, and it turns to this picture that becomes alive. And we see Pennywise doing flips and jumping around in the foreground of the frame, and he moves into frame. He stops halfway, points at the camera, yells, runs up, gets super in your face, and is like, I'll kill every last one of you. I'm your worst nightmare. This like spooky stuff. And I'm like, Tim Curry, good job, man. That's scary. He's like, I'm your worst nightmare. I'll kill every... like, it's scary. But yeah, after that, Stan is still like, no, it's not real. Everyone's like, yes, it is. He's like, no, yes, no, yes, yes, yes. He finally agrees. And they make a deal to kill it because Bill gets super emotional because he knows that Pennywise killed his little brother Georgie, which we already knew because, you know, the whole arm got yoinked off and everything. So yeah. A loud crash of thunder brings us back to, what's his name? Brings us back to Mike in his library, and we see muddy footprints on the floor all the way to his desk, and it cuts to his face. We see this big old bright orange balloon next to his head. Pop! This big old scare. He's freaking out, hyperventilating, and yeah, we hear Pennywise laughing in the background, and it's just fun. And now we're on our way to Atlanta, Georgia, to visit Stanley, who's always been a relatively minor main character, but, I mean, his is the saddest. I mean, he's a really sweet guy. He's just talking to his wife about having a kid and stuff, and he gets a call, and he's greeted by Mike. He's super happy. But Mike's like, hey, it's back, so Stan starts freaking out, and he's like, hey, I'm gonna go take a bath. And she's like, okay, I guess. So, it starts his flashback, and, I mean, it's younger him in the Losers Club getting ready to kill the clown. They're all taking turns shooting bottles and stuff with a slingshot, and, I mean, just getting ready. So I guess Beverly is the one who does the best shooting or whatever, so you're gonna be the one doing it. And they're all outside the gate, getting ready to head in. They all just take one puff of Eddie's inhaler as a symbol of, like, friendship, or, like, something like that, like family or whatever, to, like, bond themselves, and, like, yeah, this is what we're doing. So they all charge in. Turns out Henry Bowers and, like, two of his little cronies are there, and they're like, oh, they're going in, but they're not coming out. So, yeah. He charges in after them. Yeah. So they head in, and, yeah. The club moves through the underground tunnels trying to find it, while Henry's group splits up to try and catch them. But a bright light catches and kills one of Henry's little cronies, who I don't know the name of. But yeah, that kid's dead. Just out of nowhere. He's just dead. Yeah. Henry and his other one, named Belch, they catch Stanley. Like, Stanley was, like, kind of scraggling, and they catch him. And none of the rest of the group notice him, so they just keep going. Yeah. Because Henry getting ready to kill Stanley, but a bright light bursts through one of the tunnels, and it grabs Belch and folds him in half, shoving him through this small little sewer pipe. And yeah. So Henry and Stanley are sitting on the floor now because they got knocked back by this massive force. Henry starts screaming out like, Belch! Belch! And then all of a sudden the light starts coming back out. And you're like, uh-oh. So Stanley books it. He's like, oh, nah, I'm not dealing with this. So he just books it. Henry stays there. And the bright light shines on him. And Henry's hair turns white out of, like, fear. And, like, it was comical. But, I mean, his white hair's cool. So I'll give him that. I don't know. He runs down the thing, like, down a tunnel, and meets up with the rest of the group. And then, yeah, he's like, it's coming, it's coming. So they all stand in the middle of the room holding hands, and they see his true form, which is like this weird alien cocoon bright light thing, which is cool, I guess. I don't know. I like the clown. Yeah. So they're like, oh, did we do it? But then the room starts filling with fog, and they're like, oh, we didn't do anything. So they're standing in the middle of the room holding hands because it's like full of fog, and then each one of them starts seeing things that are like it has portrayed for them. Like Bill hears Georgie yelling out for him. They're like, it's not real. Bev hears her dad pissed off at her. They're like, it's not real. Richie has a wolf hand, like from the Wolfman, on his shoulder, but he's like, it's not real, there's nothing there, and it moves on. Then it goes for Stan, who's just sitting there praying, and he gets scared, so it takes Stan and pins him up against the wall. And he's like, oh shit, uh-oh. Yeah, they're like, let's kill him. Then it's like, you can't kill me, I'm the eater of worlds and children, I'm eternal, rawr. And yeah. So Eddie's like, this is battery acid, you slime, and sprays him with his inhaler. And he gets all melty. And then they're like, kill him, Bev. So Bev nails him in the head with one of the silver stone things that they set up for her. And then he freaks out and, like, shoves himself down a storm drain in this another little claymation kind of animated style, which was cool. But as he's going down, he grabs onto Bill's leg and tries to yoink him down too. And they're all, like, hitting his hand and stuff, and it turns into like a 3-pronged alien hand, and then it's like just starts flailing around, and then it like stops and just shoots straight down into the thing, and I don't know, it's cool. Yeah. They leave the quarry, and they're like, I don't know if it's dead. So Bill's like, let's make a promise. If it's not dead, we're gonna come back and make sure that we kill it. So they all swear on it, and they all put their hands in and swear on it. Stanley reluctantly does it, but he does it. Yeah, the camera pans out on them all having a group hug because they know that they're gonna have to come back. Yeah, it cuts back to Stan, and oh, this is sad. Ugh. His wife's like, Stan, I'm gonna come scrub you or whatever. Like, kind of, I don't know, it was weird. Trying to be sexy, but it wasn't really. So yeah, she goes upstairs to the bathroom where he was taking a bath, and she sees him lying there, wrists slit, blood dripping everywhere, and it written out in Stan's blood on the bathroom wall because, yeah, Stanley killed himself, and I don't know, that's the only adult death we've had so far, and we'll see what happens in, I guess, the next episode of Stu's Reviews, because that's concluding our It 1990 TV miniseries review part 1, because there's 2 parts to it, and I'm not doing a 3-hour movie in one sitting. So, thank you for listening. I really appreciate that. I guess, I don't know, like this video because it's cool. Show me support, please. That'd be sick. If you're not already, follow me on Instagram at Stuart the Reviewer, I believe, or Stu's Reviews. And yeah, everything should be in the description. And thank you for listening to my first episode. And hopefully this goes well, and there should be more in the future. So thank you for listening. Have a great day.